Hello everybody, back into yet another Kirby Fighters 2 video. Today we are finally going to get into my top 10 characters. Even though we haven't quite gotten out of my personal mid tier, even though I just said so last week, I feel like these characters start getting really good. If you enjoy these character spotlight videos, consider subscribing and looking out for more videos like these. And let's begin. Today the character we are talking about is Fighter. I'm not particularly experienced with this character, but I've seen enough to decide on my ranking of mid tier. And you might be asking yourself why, so I'll get into Fighter's weaknesses. Fighter is very dependent on his command input, Hadouken. It's Fighter's primary tool for anything really. It's a pretty fast and rangeous tool, and it even stuns shield easily, but you can't use it in the air without platforms, so it's easy to just jump to another platform and Fighter is forced to stop using it. Fighter is also really weak in the air. He is mostly forced to use laggy attacks, which permit the opponent to approach, so once again, it's easy for a character to stay up in the air with Fighter doing nothing about it. Fighter just doesn't have much range beyond laggy attacks, and once again, this can be useful, but it's sometimes hard for Fighter to do much with attack with relatively small range. So usually Fighter just needs to outclass to win, making some of his possibly great matchups a bit less great, and his bad matchups like Maglor and Gooey much worse. However, Fighter is far from bad. As a matter of fact, he's quite powerful. He has a rather big damage output, like Ninja and even Wrestler level, so he can get really oppressive often, and when Fighter hits a combo, it's gonna hurt! Once again, Fighter has many ways to forbidden you from approaching into platforms, so good players can usually use this to their advantage. Because of this, Fighter is a bit of a meta character himself, countering a ton of characters and playstyles like this. On one end of the coin, Fighter is really good because he has many ways of countering and establishing pressure, therefore winning a ton of matchups. However, he's rather hard to play, as he can get countered easily himself, especially by some of the very best top tiers like Maglor and Gooey, so I feel like he's a perfect mid tier. He's better than some characters like Parasol and Whip, but not by much, as those characters are getting better themselves, by the second. So I think Fighter deserves being in this tier, even if many say otherwise. And that's about it for today's video. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing, and I hope you've learned something new about Kirby Fighters 2 today, and see you next week.